Hello and welcome to the International Pentagon Challenge. My name is Kyanite and together we'll be embarking on a very special Football Manager journey where we'll aim to try and win every major international competition in all 5 continents, forcing our hand to play with hundreds of different types of players and most importantly hopefully create loads of awesome different types of tactics along the way. Once that's complete, only then are we allowed to set our sights on the biggest of all goals, the FIFA World Cup. How many nations will we have to manage until we work our way to the top? How many dodgy names will we have to pronounce along the way? So hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and hopefully we're going to have a lot of fun along the way. Alright, hello everyone and welcome to episode 93 of the International Pentagon Challenge. So here we are, first World Cup managing Spain, and we've only gone and somehow managed to get Germany in the last 16. And what's even funnier is the fact that they have a Spanish manager. So hopefully, you know, he can do us a favour or two. He's actually the Barcelona B chief scout in real life, so that's certainly going to be an interesting one from our perspective. Right then, so today is the day that Germany got knocked out of the 2018 World Cup in real life after losing 2-0 to South Korea. So I'm kind of hoping that that's a good omen and it means that the Germans are going to lose again here today, or it could completely backfire obviously and the Germans somehow figure out 20 years on a way to make up for it and completely hammer me and my Spanish team. In terms of the other games that have happened, now we kind of discussed how amazing South Korea were to top their group in the last episode. They've only gone and beat Colombia, and the reason why it's amazing is because South Korea are the hosts for this World Cup, and it just goes to show how much of a significant factor that home advantage can be if you play it correctly. Argentina beat England on penalties. England getting knocked out of the World Cup on penalties. No surprise there. Belgium beating South Africa in extra time and the Russians getting knocked out against France. So, we've got the Germans. We played them in the build-up to the tournament and we lost 2-1. But hopefully this time round we'll be able to get the win. Okay, so Germany, as expected, are lining up with a 4-2-3-1. The main lad we really... or the two lads that are on the pitch, we really need to keep an eye out for are Karimi, Becker and Kujuk in the attacking midfielder position. He's kind of their advanced playmaker, very, very good player. So Osoro is going to be handed the role of man-marking him. Our formation is going to change slightly to kind of a wide 4-3-3. Alvarez will pull out to the right-hand side and so will Akeche. Agude comes in, back from injury. Fresh legs as opposed to Lecueva, who's still on 83%, trying to recover from the group stages. And yeah, as long as I think we can basically try and pressurise through our left side of the pitch or their right side of the pitch, which is really the side of the pitch where the Germans try and attack from and try and hold them back. And, you know, start things off slowly, try and keep possession, try and do what we do best, try and keep Ono Kujuk quiet and try to stop the service to the big man up front in Bushka. I think we will be okay. A positive factor for us is that both Mputu and Bruckner at centre-back aren't exactly the fastest of centre-backs. So we start up front with Sebastian because he's been scoring for us so far at this World Cup, but also because we need a more physical presence up front who can hold the ball up front. But so that later in the game we can bring on the fast lads through the middle and see if that can help us change the game that way as well. A bit disappointed to see Lecueva drop to the bench because he got the assist in our 1-0 win against Scotland, but it is what it is. And obviously, we are going to have to keep an eye out for Miguel, all 2 metres of him from set pieces as well. Okay, so here's the approach that's going to be coming out from us. Alvarez pulled over to the right-hand side. Akeche stays at that false 9, but his man-marking will move him out wide. Osoro man-marking. Sebastian has been toned down to a complete forward on support early on in the game. Opposition instruction-wise, you know, we're trying to show the wide players onto their weaker feet, but most importantly, with their danger man in Kujuk being on 82%, that's something I want to try and take advantage of. And there, you know, his average rating is proof of how much of an important player for them he's going to be. the nice thing about how we're playing like this, as opposed to the 3-4-3, is that we protect, or we have protection in the wide areas, but also match their 3 in midfield. Otherwise, up against the Germans, I think we'd really struggle, even though when we played them in the build-up to the tournament, we scored against them by starting off through a cross into the box onto Leicester in the 3-4-3 when he was playing as the left winger. But obviously, here we are at the World Cup. It's going to be a little bit different. I don't want to draw conclusions based off of our games in the past. And the style of play really is going to be the exact same kind of core concepts that you've seen already. So I'm not going to waste too much time talking about that. And I want to focus more on the game itself. Here we go then. Can the Germans, getting knocked out of the 2018 World Cup 20 years later, hopefully end up being quite a positive omen for us? Instruction-wise, we have actually dropped our defensive line a little bit. Again, we could raise it as the game progresses. I really don't want to concede an early goal to the Germans. And, you know, I'd rather just kind of be a little bit conservative, work our way into the game, and usually we kind of play on a bit of a higher tempo. In this case, we've toned it down a little bit as well because, you know, we want to be less susceptible to making mistakes up against this German team. Because I do know for a fact as well that this German team are very, very good when it comes to counter-attacking due to the pace that they possess. And that fact does come from how they were looking to play against us when we played them in the build-up to this tournament. 15 minutes in, it has been a tight affair. Both teams with chances. You can see how high this German line is. You can see how high that right back is pushing forwards. And for that reason, that's kind of why we've got the false 9 on that side. But I do kind of feel like pulling Akeche out wide might actually be more beneficial in terms of how we're looking to play. Both the German wingers, so Becker and Karimi, are on their natural sides. That's why we set the opposition instructions trying to play them in on their weaker feet. So Pino finds a pass to Antony, who spots Alvarez out on the right wing. Pino, Antony shoots from a distance, and oh my word, what a strike that is from the one, the only, I don't know his first name, something, we'll just call him Miguel because that's a Spanish name, Antony. I did not see that one coming, but you know what, at this current point in time, I think I will take it. Osoro, so Honor Kujuk is playing more of a support role here, and it is actually dragging Osoro out a little bit because he is trying to mark him tightly, but I don't think it bothers me too much at the moment because our centre-backs should be able to deal with Busher on their own. But it also makes me wonder whether or not it could be a decent shout to assign one of these guys the man-marking responsibilities instead and leave Osoro more in this area. We'll see how the game progresses because so far the bulk of the German highlights that we've seen have kind of come through getting chances on the counter-attack and utilising those fast players. And they've not really threatened, to be honest. So we'll keep doing what we're doing. I don't feel like we need to, given that we are obviously 1-0 up, I don't feel like we need to kind of... Oh, he's hit the bar. Antony. Oh, my God. Him and them long shots. I don't feel like we need to, you know, kind of put pedal to the metal too much just yet. Obviously, if we end up conceding again, then we'll analyse what we have to do then. Tactically, we've not really seen any changes come out from the Germans. But so far, quite positive. We are starting to see more German chances here. Roberto's on a yellow card, and I think we can maybe make a change or two just as we kind of approach half-time to just try and be a little bit more disciplined, hold on to this ball a little better, and see if we can see things out until half-time. Apologies if you can hear a dog in the background. It's my neighbour's dog. There's not really much I can do about it. Hopefully you can't hear the dog though. But it is really annoying when I'm trying to record a video and all I can hear is a crazy dog barking outside. So there we go. Tactically, so far so good. Again, up against a very, very good German side. Our chances were always going to be limited. We've been quite fortunate with the goal that we've got, but we have been the better of the two sides. Okay, half-time changes then. So I am going to try and move Akeche out onto the left-hand side. He's not had the best of games. I've told Roberto to ease off tackles because I really can't afford a red card right now. And Sebastian is now going to be a complete forward on attack. Instruction-wise, we've reverted back to what we did before. We really aimed to look to waste time, except I've taken Be More Expressive off, and our passing directness is going to stay on shorter. I feel like doing that will frustrate the Germans, in the build-up to this second half. The Germans do look like they are still playing that 4-2-3-1. They've caused us a lot of problems in terms of some of their dribbles because of the sheer quality of players that they have. But all we can really do at this point is see how we grow into the second half, see how they grow into the second half, and see what we can do about it. Not really pleased with that direct ball forwards, but the reason why that worked for us was not only Sebastian battling for it up front, but because if you go back and take a look, when our goalkeeper took that goal kick, there was like the front four of the Germans were pushed so far up the pitch that it was quite easy for us to win the second ball, which, isn't something I'm really complaining about, to be honest. So Sebastian finds Alvarez, who hits the bar, and that is the second time we've actually hit the woodwork in this game. So unlucky. Can Miguel head home and give us a really important 2-goal lead? It came close, but not quite close enough. It feels to me, if we get that second goal, that's it. We'll put the game to bed, and we'll have enough quality and experience to, especially when you're a Spanish side, to retain possession, play a controlling game, slow the tempo down, and look to frustrate the opposition. But with the Germans, they never say never. You can never count them out. But yeah, I've been very, very pleased with our performance so far. But all it takes is one mistake, just like that, for the Germans to counter-attack from. Very surprised that Onur Kujuk is still on the pitch. The guy looks completely knackered, but I'll tell you who isn't knackered, it's Akete, who has the pace to burn, but does get tackled by Brun Meh. And really, the inside forward should suit Akete because he is right-footed, but I think Julian is naturally going to have to come on here. 84%, that's really why he didn't start the game, but he's going to have to come on now. And in terms of other substitutions we can do, it is very difficult at these kind of late points of games in the World Cup, because it still feels to me like players really struggle with fitness, maybe too much. When you're talking about world-class players who are physically incredibly fit, like, it shouldn't take a player, I think, more than 4 days to be back to full fitness. And the really annoying thing is, you can't, like, as an international manager, tell players to take a day off training, which obviously, when you're playing the normal version of Football Manager, or the club management version of Football Manager, helps sort out fitness levels. So yeah, it's just going to be Julian who's going to come on for now. But 10 minutes into this second half, it kind of feels like the tables have flipped a little bit. It feels like we're the ones who are playing on the counter-attack like the Germans were in the first half, and they're the ones who are really having the rub of the green. Anan is going to find Mehmet Bitnel, and really he should have finished there. Agude does get the tackle in on the wrong side of the pitch and hoots it forwards towards Sebastian. And the Germans are beginning to knock, and we knew that they would. Karimi, I mentioned him early on. Sounding like I said creamy then. Karimi, he's a very, very good player for them. I think he scored against us when they beat us 2-1. And as we see, the match stats are starting to tilt in favour of the Germans. And it's starting to kind of feel like we would benefit here from bringing on some fresh legs. So Lacueva's going to come on simply because Agude is tired. And while Lacueva's only on 84%, I feel like he's an experienced, he's 33 years of age. He's going to be experienced, cool, calm and collected head at the back. And really, we can afford to make one more substitution, but I don't really feel like a substitution is too necessary right now. I'm going to change Sebastian back to a complete forward on support. And really, the other thing I'm going to do is reduce our width to hopefully help us kind of maintain our passing success ratio. I'm going to remove pass into space. That should hopefully, fingers crossed, help us retain possession even more as well. And I thought for a second that was going to be the equaliser. So I would really like to see us grind out a chance or two, because I'm not going to lie, I don't think we've had a single chance this second half. It was a very, very good first half, but we've seen absolutely nothing. And with 15 minutes to go, it's probably time to consider shutting up shop. So the question now is, what are we going to look to do? Shape-wise, I don't think we need to do much, and you guys will probably remember the Nations League, when I kind of would opt to take this style of approach to the game, where we'd play Raul as kind of an advanced playmaker, have that core of 4 centrally in the middle of the park to help us retain possession, and then play off the runs of the wide players. And that is what we're basically going to look to do now. We're going to look to exploit the left-hand side of the park, because that is where Julian is. And, yeah, we're going to go with that. And as hopefully the half begins to fade out, we will start toning things down a little bit. But it does not help at all when you throw the ball straight to the opposition, which is something that's been in Football Manager for years and drives me up the wall. But Julian, can he be the man of the moment? He swung his leg at the ball, but he wasn't able to win it. And now the Germans are the ones doing the counter-attacking. Kujuk finds Mehmed Bitnel. I'm not quite sure whether we're playing Germany or Turkey here, but it is what it is. Gil finds Raul, and the Spanish hang on to fight another day. It's been, this whole second half has been all German. And I'm not really too sure there is much we can do about it specifically, to be honest. We're misplacing a lot of passes right now. Villanova is specifically told to play out the back, and he's just hoofed that ball forwards. And, while we maybe could have grinded a chance from it, I'm not entirely convinced. That's a poor pass from Antony as well. Julian, he's right-footed, would rather not play this on his left foot, and Alvarez isn't the tallest in the business. That's another dodgy pass, and I think we're starting to see mistakes coming out from our central midfielders, and we, my friends, are going to have to try and tone this down a little bit. So the question is, how do we look to tone it down? I think what we'll look to do is tone it down. No, we're not going to change shape. We'll leave the shape how it is. Oh, we've made all 3 substitutions. As Homer Simpson would say at a time like this, dough, right? So not really my proudest moment there. I do tend to forget when I make when I make 3 substitutions. So that's backfired. Right, what can we do? I think one thing we can do is drop our defensive line a little bit. Tell the lads to be a little bit more disciplined. And, yeah, fingers crossed. Hopefully we stop misplacing as many passes as we have done so far. You see what I mean? I kind of feel like, at the moment, our players are just completely mistake-ridden. And, it could be down to the fact that we are a bit of an inexperienced team. I do feel like our fullbacks are a little bit too adventurous for my liking. What can Julian do here? Gives it straight back to the German goalkeeper, which isn't really ideal. But hopefully Pino wins that. Alvarez to Raul. Antony's in, and we can make it 2 maybe. No, it's passed straight to the German goalkeeper again. So tactically, what we're looking to do, it's working. We have finally started to carve out chances of our own. But I am wary of the fact that the Germans are going to keep pushing more and more men, more and more players forwards. And as we approach added time, we are going to go defensive. Gil to Raul. You see what I mean? Like, what kind of world-class footballers are these where, like, one person passes it to the other and it just bounces off the other player's feet? Like, I mean, I completely understand... Oh, Raul? I tried to chip the goalkeeper. I completely understand that the 3D engine at times isn't a complete one-to-one representation of what is actually going on tactically in the game, right? But sometimes the amount of mistakes you see are just ridiculous. Hello, Villanova. Wake up, please. Concentrate, please. That was a little bit... 2 dodgy moments for both goalkeepers there, to be honest. But we are on the verge of defeating the Germans if we can hold on. And it's going to be our 3rd 1-0 win at this World Cup in a row. And it's like what I said in the past few episodes. We've got a very, very strong, a very, very good Spanish team. But I can't find any consistency with them, but we're still somehow managing to win games. It wasn't a convincing win. Credit where it's due to the Germans. They limited us to a single shot on target, I think, because I think at half-time we mentioned that we had 3 shots on target, so we didn't manage a single shot on target that second half. But what was good was that we still remained defensively resilient, and Antony's beautiful strike, let's watch it again, beautiful strike, was really what was the difference for us at the end of the day. I'm not quite sure why the replay's gone laggy. I think I remember now why I don't bother looking at replays in FM18, because they are a little bit bugged. We have seen it in the past, actually, now that we come to mention it. But there we go. Lovely first touch on the volley, and not really much the German goalkeeper could have done there. So, you know, we beat the Germans. I'm going to calmly tell the lads I'm not happy with what I've seen. Some like it, some don't. The majority of them like it. It's Football Manager. You're not going to be able to please everyone. And ladies and gents, we are going to be in the 2038 World Cup quarter-final against either Switzerland or Honduras. Now, if we can beat Germany, we can beat Switzerland or Honduras, right? We've already beat Switzerland in the build-up to this game, to this tournament, so I'd like to think that we will be capable of beating them in the quarter-final. And, you know, once you've kind of surpassed that quarter-final point, once you're at knockout games, it's knockout football and anything can happen. And that can range from us winning the World Cup, which will be our first ever World Cup, which will be absolutely immense, to a ridiculous upset where we lose 3-0 to Honduras. But if you enjoyed the video, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and I will see you guys in the quarterfinal in the next episode. Thanks for watching.